Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Behind every broken debt lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Yes, this is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Well, hello and welcome to the Midday News and Voice of the People Television. I am David Edwin. First, the headlines. Former AGF Abubakar Malami rearrested by DSS over alleged terrorism financing. Federal government charges Ozekume for forgery. Vice President Kashim Shettima commissions Nigerian Pavillion in Davos. Odigye Oyegu says ADC obedient political alliance poised to oust APC in 2027. Nigerian army dismisses reported planned mutiny over poor welfare. Obi condemns police, says shift actions shows Nigeria can defeat crime. MNJTF commander pledges end to Boko Haram insurgents in Borno State. In the world of business, banks report higher loan default rates in Q4 of 2025. And in sports, 24.6 billion naira earmarked from Moshood Abiola Stadium facelift. In entertainment, Ukeria Nunobi sues cleric over relationship claims. And now the news in full. The Department of State Services, that's the DSS, has arrested former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, a senior advocate of Nigeria, outside Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja, where he had fulfilled bail conditions for a money laundering case. Malami, his wife, and son were granted bail by the Federal High Court last Wednesday in the sum of 500 million naira each, with two sureties over allegations of money laundering involving 8.7 billion naira. The DSS reportedly acted on multiple petitions alleging terrorism financing against Malami following the discovery of arms at his Kebbi residence during an EFCC search. The federal government, has filed a criminal charge against a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mike Ozekume, for alleged forgery and use of false documents in a disputed property case in the United Kingdom. The case was brought before a federal high court in Abuja by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, on behalf of the Attorney General of the Federation. Ozekome is accused of presenting forged documents, including a Nigerian passport, to support his claims of ownership of a London property. The charges include giving false information, using false documents, and attempting to deceive a public authority. Still on some legal matters, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has fixed Thursday, January the 22nd, for the commencement of trial of rights activist Omoyele Sowore over an alleged false claim against President Bola Tinubu. This followed Sowore's arraignment by the Department of State Services, that the DSS, on a 2-count amended charge, including cyber stalking, to which he pleaded not guilty. After taking all the arguments, Justice Muhammad Umar. Meanwhile, Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, has formally opened the Nigerian House at the 2026 World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, stating that it reflects the country's renewed seriousness, readiness, and resolve to take its place as an active participant in global economic conversations. According to him, Nigerian House is a response to the lapses of the past and reflects the country's intention, seriousness, and advertises both its readiness and resolve to take a frontline seat in the discourse of the global economy, not as observers, but as participants with a clear sense of purpose and place. In a statement by his spokesperson, Stanley Wokocha, Shettima noted that while nations do not prosper in isolation, Nigeria's future growth depends on deliberate, structured engagement with the global economy. The Vice President described it as extraordinary day in the history of the nation's engagement at the meeting point of global political leadership, policy thinkers, and corporate enterprise, with Nigeria having its own sovereign pavilion at Davos for the first time. Meanwhile, he explained that though the Nigerian House may have been conceived as a whole of government platform, its true essence must come from the private sector. The government, having opened doors, created frameworks, and de-risked the environment. In another development, the federal government has launched a national housing strategy, land reform, public deficit. Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, the National Council of Lands, Housing and Urban Development in Ilorin, Kwara State. Nigeria's housing deficit is estimated in tens of millions, making it a pressing socio-economic challenge. As part of the strategy, the Renewed Hope Housing Program aimed to deliver 77,400 affordable homes with 100 units in each of Nigeria's 774 local government areas. In the meantime, local contractors under the Indigenous Contractors Association of Nigeria, IACAN, carried out a block of the Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja on Monday, alleging the federal government's failure to honor agreements to pay over 4 trillion naira owed for completed projects. Speaking during the picketing, IACAN President Jackson Wosu said the renewed action was caused by accumulating debts, worsening cash flow pressures, rising bank default, and asset seizures being suffered by contractors who borrowed to execute government projects. According to Wosu, the government has failed to honor the agreement to pay contractors whose project details had been submitted and verified. He added that payments finalized before the closure of the payment portal at the end of December never reflected in their accounts. He further dismissed claims that 80% of the debt had been settled, stating that at least only 30 to 40% of payments had been made, with warrants stopping in May 2025, while contractors continue to execute projects without corresponding payments, thereby pushing total liabilities beyond 4 trillion naira. Moving on, the African Democratic Congress, that's the ADC, is confident that its collaboration with the Obedient Movement will dislodge the All Progressive Congress, APC, from power in the 2027 general elections. According to Chief John Odigwe, a former APC national chairman. Odigwe made the statement while welcoming members of the Obedient Movement who defected to the ADC in Edo State. The move comes weeks after former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi formally joined the ADC, strengthening the opposition coalition. The ADC chieftain described the influx of Obedient Movement members as a sign of Nigerian readiness, particularly the youth, to pursue leadership change and national rebirth. He emphasized that the party's goal is to save Nigeria and create a new nation through the ADC. In another development, former senator representing Kaduna Central, Shehu Sani, has dismissed claims of a political alliance involving former Governor Nasir El-Rufai, Senator Suleiman Abdul Kwari Ashiru, and opposition parties, describing any such move aimed at unseating Governor Uba Sani in the 2027 general election as one that will fail woefully. Sani made the assertion on Monday while addressing a press conference in Kaduna State, where he said the opposition lacks the grassroots structure and popular support needed to challenge the ruling administration across the state. Expressing confidence in Governor Uba Sani's prospect of securing a second term, the former lawmaker attributed this optimism to what he described as unprecedented achievements recorded by the administration in governance, security, infrastructure, and inclusive leadership. According to him, opposition political parties in Kaduna State exist largely on paper and have little or no presence at the wards and community levels. Meanwhile, a former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, has commended the Nigerian police force for swiftly arresting the suspect in the murder of a housewife and her 6 children in Kano State. Acknowledging the grief that the killing have provoked and condemning the incidents, which he described as a devastating tragedy, Obi said the incident has left the nation in deep sorrow. In a statement, the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate said the horrifying murder of a housewife and her 6 children remained a deep and painful sorrow in the heart of the nation. Commending the police for apprehending the perpetrators of these heinous crimes, he said if Nigeria continues to witness firm, consistent, and intelligence-driven responses from the security institutions, the nation will undoubtedly see a meaningful reduction in crime across its communities. Well, away from that report, the Nigerian army has dismissed as false and misleading the report that soldiers were planning to a mutiny over poor salaries, allowances, and welfare conditions. It insisted that the army authorities remain firmly committed to the welfare, discipline, and professionalism of its personnel. In a statement refuting the online report, the Director of Army Public Relations, Colonel Apollonia Anele, described the report as a deliberate attempt to sensationalize issues and undermine public confidence as well as national security. Anele stressed that at no time had there been any threats of mutiny within the Nigerian army, adding that mutiny is a grave offense under military law and is completely alien to the ethos, discipline, and professionalism of the Nigerian soldiers. The army further faulted the report for relying on anonymous and unverifiable claims circulated through non-official channels, stressing that such narrative do not reflect views or conduct of his personnel, who are trained to channel grievances through established military procedures. Meanwhile, the statement clarified that promotion increments are only a component of military pay and should not be misrepresented as total earnings. Moving on, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has expressed deep concerns over the alleged abduction of 163 worshippers during a Sunday church service in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, describing the incident as a reflection of Nigeria's worsening security situations. The opposition party, in a statement by its publicity secretary, Ini Ememobong, urged the federal government to focus on rescuing the abducted worshippers rather than engaging in what it called performative crisis engagement. The party's leadership said its thoughts are with the families of the abducted worshippers who had been plunged into fear and uncertainty. The incident has sparked controversy, with the Kaduna State government and police denying reports of the abduction, while the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has confirmed the incident. Moving on, the force commander of the multinational joint task force, that's the MNJTF, Major General Saidu Audu, has expressed confidence that the end of Boko Haram and other non-state armed groups operating in the Lake Chad region is near. Audu made this statement during a courtesy visit to Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum in Maiduguri, the state's capital, as part of his familiarization tour following his assumption of office on November the 13th, 2025. He appreciated the state government's consistent support for MNJTF operations and discussed strategies to intensify efforts against the insurgency. The force has developed a comprehensive strategy to address Boko Haram and other non-state actors, focusing on tackling the fight directly to their enclaves. Recent operations include airstrikes, have resulted in significant setbacks for the terrorists, with over 40 militants neutralized in recent attacks. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, that's the NSCDC FCT Command, has arrested 112 alleged vandals of critical national assets and infrastructure in 2025, according to Commandant Olushola Odumosu. The breakdown of arrests includes 9 suspects in January, 3 in February, 2 in March, and 1 in April. The NSCDC has vowed to continue protecting national assets and infrastructure, warning vandals to desist or face the law. The NSCDC has also announced plans to prosecute offenders under the Cybercrimes Act with penalties including up to 10 years in prison. Well, you're still watching the Midday News right here on Voice of the People Television. We'll go straight to the analysis segment of the news. And joining us now to make sense of these stories that made it to the bulletin and more, in the studio with us is Barrister Darlington Agumor. Barrister Darlington is a legal practitioner right here in Nigeria, and also a public and political affairs analyst and commentator right on this white table. Barrister, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to you.
Good afternoon, David. How are you?
I'm fine, very well, thank you, Barrister. How are you doing as well?
I'm okay.
All right then. Joining us also virtually is Mr. Frank Ayala. Mr. Frank is an economist and also a public affairs analyst and commentator. Mr. Frank, I want to establish communication with you. A very good afternoon to you, and thanks for joining the analysis segment of the Midday News. I would like you to unmute your mic so we can establish communication first.
Okay. Good afternoon, Solomon.
Well, thank you so very much for joining the conversation. All right, then, let me start off with you, Mr. Frank. Interestingly, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, that's the NSCDC FCT Command, has just declared that they've made about 112 persons alleged vandals of critical national assets and, of course, infrastructure in 2025. Well, this is according to the commandant, Olushola Odumusu, who's made this known to newsmen. Interestingly, this is a conversation that Nigerians should carefully also be a part of. Vandals who make away with national assets, infrastructures, and all of those stuffs that we see. Do you think that as it stands, this level of arrest might also deter other people who want to tow this direction? Some would say because of the extreme poverty in the land that has caused these people to go vandalizing properties and, of course, assets of Nigerians. What's your take about this?
Thank you, Solomon. For me, crime, there's no justification for crime. No matter the angle anybody is looking at it, crime is a crime. The national asset belongs to everybody that's in Nigeria. That includes our children unborn. So nobody has the right to go and vandalize national assets. After the question we should be asking after the arrest, what next? Are they going to be prosecuted? If they are prosecuted, are they going to send them to jail? Are they going to make an open prosecution? Are you not going to know what is happening to those people that are being prosecuted? Because those are the signs that people will say it's okay for people that did it before they were punished. So there is no need for that people to go and do it. But
let's put this out there. Let's put this out there. The NSCDC has also announced plans to prosecute offenders under the Cyber Crimes Act, of course, with penalties including up to about 10 years imprisonment. So there will definitely be persecution. But the questions that are being asked is the fact that even after this level of prosecution of these persons, we still see some Nigerians go this way of vandalizing assets, of course, that are being built by the government.
Because we as a Nigerian, we've lost interest in this country. We lost the hope in this country. We are no more patriotic enough to steal national assets as our own, as part of our own lifestyle. Out. If they are saying they've arrested over 1something people, when you say January last year, is it 1 year not enough to start the prosecution? Have they started the prosecutions? Which of the courts have they been prosecuted? So those are the questions. We don't just throw numbers around. We need to know. We need to start seeing the workings of the numbers. We have arrested people for last year. We are already on the 20th of this month. When are we going to start seeing them being prosecuted?
All right, then. Well, huge question there. Let me bring this. Let me bring this conversation to the studio here. Barrister, the NSCDC clearly has said that they will be prosecuting, but big question raised by Mr. Frank Ayala there, stating that these arrests have been made since last year, January, February, March. I mean, in January, they had some numbers. March, April, February also they had. Why didn't they prosecute up till this time?
As far as I'm concerned, that is not the solution to the problem.
What do you think is the solution to the problem?
Arresting people for vandalizing whatever is not the problem. How many of your political leaders have you arrested for vandalizing our properties, our money? How many of them have you arrested for looting our treasury? You are arresting these people. You are forgetting that you don't care for them, so they are looking for what to eat. But that is a sign of poverty in your country.
Barrister, looking for what to eat does not guarantee them going to vandalize properties.
Hold on. Your leader that vandalized our treasury, David, who arrested them? As I'm talking to you now, 210 trillion naira is missing from NNPC, and nobody is accounting for it. Who stole that money? David, who stole that money? Who has been arrested? Because you see, people, helpless people that they don't have a voice. They vandalize property. They vandalize it. That money could be used to take care of those people. Give them a better life. That money could be used to better Nigeria so that you not have such occurrences. The people that vandalize those, is it not to sell it and then have money in their pocket to eat? Is that not what they did? Are they going to eat it? No. When you see things like this, go and check yourself.
But that's also a crime, that's also a crime.
Look, yes, you made them. I told you here that the society prepares the crime and then the criminal commits it. David, do they vandalize property in America? Tell me. Do they vandalize things like that in UK, in Canada? Please answer me. Okay. Do they loot that kind of money anywhere in the Western world? That 210 trillion naira missing from one government institution and nobody is talking about, nobody is accounting for it. Rather, the man at the NPC told us that the money was misplaced. You misplaced that kind of money. And nobody has rendered account of what happened. And you are blaming people. If those people if they had 3 square meters, if they have means of livelihood, would they be looking for something to vandalize? No, tell me that in America, that's what they do. They vandalize the national asset and all that. Nobody will care for such things over there because the government have taken care of them. David, the government gave them welfare system. David, people are looking for 3 square meters a day. They can't find it. So you look. You are going to arrest more. I see this for what do you call your name? You will arrest more. Until you start arresting those who looted our treasury, arrest them so that you balance the equation. You cannot arrest only those people because you see that they have no mouth, they can't talk. Well, nobody to fight for them. But the real people that are destroying national assets, you can't arrest them. David, you cannot arrest them. You and your government, you can't arrest them. So you want me to clap for you now? You have arrested people. Thank you. You have arrested people.
We're also not trying to validate the fact that this is a crime.
Start from the beginning. I told you here, if you don't want them to do those things, take care of them. David, take care of your people. They will not have time to go into criminality. This is money you are looting. It's the money you could use to better Nigeria, for God's sake. Or am I not making sense to you? 210 trillion naira. And nobody is talking about, nobody is accounting for it. What kind of country is this? You are asking people because they vandalize what they are doing. If those people we are taking, if they are working in factories and all that, will they be looking for what to vandalize? Tell me. Will they look for what to vandalize? Nigerians. Every time you breed a bunch of criminals and you turn around to arrest them. Are you not the one that created and they gave back to them? When you have impoverished people with no means of livelihood, what do you expect them to do, for God's sake? What do you expect them to do? Tell me. Many businesses are closed down because they cannot afford to even meet NEPA tariff. They can't pay NEPA bill. They can't pay NEPA bill in their working place, and they have to close down. And now you are blaming them. Meanwhile, you are looting the treasury. You are looting the treasury, and nobody is arresting you.
Well, we cannot look past the fact that, yes, there are ripple effects when such level of misappropriation is clearly being seen by the people at the top. But let's come to another conversation, Barrister, even though I would say you did not answer my question. But let's come to another conversation. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has expressed deep concerns over the abduction of 163 worshippers during a Sunday service in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State. Well, interestingly, the local government chairman of that particular area has said nothing like that happened. But on the other hand, Christian Association of Nigeria has clearly confirmed that these happened. In fact, we have reports that about 9 of these worshippers were freed because, according to the story, they were either old or frail to not make that trip, so they had to let them out. What do you make of the fact that even government at the local level can deny such? Should it be true, truly?
They are trying to cover their own atrocity because they are complicit in these things. They are trying to cover them. I don't know what they are covering them for. Can you cover a 6-month-old pregnancy?
What is it covering them, Barrister? What
they are doing it so that they give Nigerian government a good image. That is all. That is it. We didn't hear what they said they are laundering their image in America. They cover it so that America will not come again.
At the essence of the lives of Nigerians.
That is what I'm telling you, that your government does not care for the people. So that's why people are vandalizing their property in revenge. If you care for your people, do you need to cover such things? David, if you care for Nigeria, if you care for Nigeria, should anybody kidnap anybody in Nigeria?
But then again, that's on another level. Former senator, I'm talking about Shehu Sani, did say that Kaduna State is getting it right when it comes to security. So where is he getting his own reports from? Stating that, of course, opposition does not have any voice in Kaduna State. So what 160 Nigerians that went to Washington on Sunday.
Everybody is saying whatever just to be relevant. Everybody just talking so that he can be relevant one or the other.
This is for the optics and relevancy.
But the fact remains that things are not there. There is insecurity in Nigeria. Is that not true? Covering it does not make sense at all. It is this type of behavior and attitude and utterances that makes the people to be disenchanted. Go and do opinion poll. 80 to 90% of Nigerians don't believe in Nigeria again because the government have neglected them. So how do you now be how can you be patriotic to a government that don't care about you? Please tell me. How? A government that does not care about you, how can you be patriotic to that government? Just tell me how it happens. Tell me how it happens. And just one. You know what? Is somewhere in Sokoto. You know what Donald Trump did? Yeah, under your watch, in our country, terror came from nowhere. Without they came into Nigeria, drove them in that village, and they are living in people's homes. When terrorists are people that are in Africa, what that God for
what barrister comes in that local government happiness not true. Then again, the Christian Association of Nigeria is confirming that this is real. Who do we believe here?
Sometimes when you stay too much in the dark, you will eventually start seeing some certain things you're not supposed to see. I think Shehu Sani need to know that he's a very respectable Nigerian. There are things that I don't expect him to defend. The same Shehu Sani should go from Kaduna to Abuja by road. Then after which you should go and check his BP to see if his BP will remain the same. So for me, I think the government they are deluding themselves in a way that taking that Nigeria, you don't know what we are thinking. Or it's only that I went to the classroom to go and study. See, if they have come to like this kind of life as 1960, where there was no social media, there was no camera, there was no video, people will listen to them. And this is the problem I think this current administration have. When you have lived in denial for too long, you now see that abnormality to be a normal thing. My brother, as long as we are in this Nigeria, we all know what our security problem as we stand today. So, Shehu Sani for me is actually lying. He's trying to serve the master that he believes from there. He get one or two things. Maybe some of them they are broke anyway. No, when you are broke, you are trying to bend the rule.
You also share the sentiment that he's trying to be relevant?
He's trying to be relevant. Unfortunately, even with his master, they are not relevant to Nigeria as it stands today because things have really gone south. In terms of security, things have gone south. Nothing is working as it stands today. Nothing is working. They know. But they are still trying to say, okay, can we place the president and see how we get our out of his pocket? Unfortunately, the old man is also allowing to them because he's also desperate to retain the office. So he's ready to do anything to get anybody to switch base. For me, Shehu Sani should do better, should do more.
Now,
do more.
Mr. Frank, concerns are being raised really because if the police is saying on one hand there is no abduction of this level in Kaduna State. And the local government chairman of the said area is saying the same thing. And then Christian Association of Nigeria is coming out to say, look, this is not true. Nigerians who went to worship, Christians who went to worship, were kidnapped. Should we believe a particular set as against the security operatives that were supposed to believe, so to say, in this situation?
Chibok they were taking, the government denied. When that thing they were taking, the government denied. Am I correct? When Kankara boys were taken, they were over close to 300 or thereabout. That's the number now. Like Mohammed denied it. The then Minister of Defense also said it was not true. So government have never hold on to a responsibility. And that is a failure. And that is what has created the trust deficit we have today. When government come to tell us what are not visible. We are in this country today where those dark children were taken under Buhari. The initial report was it was a fake news. When Kankara boys were taken, the story was it was a fake news. When those security people that went to church about people in a war, the initial response of government was it was a fake news. So how do we now also know? How do we also now believe them that they are also not lying? So they have a precedent of lying to Nigeria. They have a precedent of telling Nigeria white as against when it is black. So the police can tell us all sorts of stories. Today, the major problem we have in Nigeria today is the police, the policing system, and the judiciary. So nothing, I think there is nothing those two agencies of government tell you that you take with a piece of salt.
All right then.
Please.
Let's bring this conversation.
The police today is our problem.
Yeah.
The police today is our problem. The judiciary has come to compound the police problem before you now put INEC. There are 3 sets of people that are destroying Nigeria. The INEC that select the wrong people, that allow the wrong people to get to the office. The police that provide the security for those wrong people to do what they want to do. The judiciary that stand the illegitimate to become legitimacy. Right. So this is our problem.
Let's take this conversation to the studio here while we wrap up. Barrister, the police clearly on this same situation did say that they do not have verified claims of any person who was missing. Now, I want to play back to the fact that the president, when he rejigged his chief of staffs, he did say to them, Nigerians would not take any excuses. How much of a lacuna do we have when it comes to information, plus the reality of insecurity in Nigeria, should Nigerians consistently hold on to? Is there hope in any way, particularly for Nigerians now, living around the northeast and, of course, the northwest central of the country, and, of course, even every other part of the country where insecurity has become heavy?
If we are going to bank on what they are saying with their mouth, that means you are not serious with your life. You want to plan your life with what they told you, Abi? That means you are not serious, seriously. Mention one thing they told you that has come to pass. Just one thing this administration told you that, yes, you say, yes, this is what they promised us, they have done it. Somebody told you that if he cannot give you light, that you should not vote him. Where is the light? Up to today, we are still struggling with 5,000 megawatts of electricity. After 65 years of independence.
Well, they said that was that's about a distribution company. Now.
What is that?
They generated enough.
No excuse. You have no excuse whatsoever. You have no excuse whatsoever. This other one that had 40, 50, 30, are they not government? Is it not government that is running those countries, please? They are not even half of our population. What is the megawatts of electricity in South Africa here? Egypt. And the rest of them. Is it not a government that made provision for those things? So when you are telling me that somebody said they gave them, which order? How many orders have they given? Which one was obeyed? David, which one has been obeyed? Before the girls at that school, Kankara, is it where, were taken away. Yes. Security agents were in that school providing what security. Until the last minute, somebody gave order that they should leave, and immediately these guys came and kidnapped those girls. The new Minister of Defense told us that he will find out who gave the order that those people should live there. Up to today, have any name been given to you?
Well,
even the president said that he wants to know who gave that order. Until today, did he find out? So if you are not taking care of what happened before, how do I now believe that you are going to take care of what is happening now or what is going to happen in the future? You can see what I'm telling you. Nothing, they are not serious. They are all about themselves. When it comes to Nigerian matter, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, David. Some people are out of school. Look at how many number of children that are out of school in Nigeria, especially in the north. But somebody from the same north had the audacity, the wickedness to go and be spending $5 million to pay for his own children's school fees in Switzerland.
Oh, well, Barrister, because of our time, really,
these are people that you are listening to.
This is where we have to draw anchor on the analysis segment of the midday news. We've been talking with Barrister Darlington Agumo, a legal practitioner right here in Nigeria, and of course, a political and public affairs commentator and analyst. Barrister, thank you so very much for being here.
My pleasure.
Also, we had with us Mr. Frank Ayala, an economist and also a public and political affairs analyst. Mr. Frank, thank you so very much for being here also on the media news analysis segment.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you so very much. We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, more stories on the media news will be up next. Please do stay with us.
Power and opinion scream the loudest. It's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand.
Glad to have you back. It is still the media news right here on Voice of the People Television. Now to more stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has signed the state's 2026 appropriation bill into law, approving a 4.4 trillion naira budget aimed at driving development and improving living conditions across the state. Our correspondent Onyeka Ogolo has more in this report.
Ikeja, following its passage by the State House of Assembly earlier this month. The signing ceremony drew top government officials, including the Deputy Governor, members of the State Executive Council, and lawmakers from Lagos State House of Assembly. The 2026 spending plan totals 4.44 trillion naira. A breakdown shows 2.1 trillion naira has been approved for recurrent expenditure, while 2.33 trillion naira is allocated for capital projects in the driving development in the state. Governor Sanwo-Olu says the budget prioritized included major investment in roads, construction, public schools, healthcare facilities, housing, and security, as the state works to ease the impact of economic pressures on residents and business.
Sharing prosperity, meaning that it's an inclusive government. It's a budget that must carry everybody along, irrespective of what part of the state, what division in the state, what sector. You must feel governance, you must feel the essence of why we're in government in one form or the other. I want to assure you that this budget will be implemented responsibly. We will put up our A grade to ensure that accountability and value for money is created such that at the end of the day, Lagosians will feel the benefit, of this great work that the Lagos State House of Assembly has done for us.
The governor also praised lawmakers for what he described as strong legislative outside, saying the slight increase in the budget reflects confidence in the state's capacity to deliver meaningful projects despite current economic challenges.
The budget has been well scrutinized, and I can say here today, and the budget has been approved by the Lagos State House of Assembly, and we have approved 4,444,509 million naira.
It is evidence that the infrastructural renewal process in Lagos cuts across the nooks and corners in Lagos State. Nobody is left out with your Team Plus agenda.
Investments in health and education also remain central to the budget's shared prosperity agenda, reinforcing the administration's firm belief that human capital development is critical to sustainable development. These interventions are targeted at improving healthcare delivery, strengthening educational outcomes, and equipping Lagosians with the skills and capabilities required to thrive in an increasing competitive global economy.
The Lagos State government says implementation of the 2026 budget will begin immediately, with priority projects expected to roll out across key sectors in the coming weeks. I am Monica Ogolo, reporting for VOP TV.
Thank you, Yeka, for that report. Moving on to other stories, the federal government has opened application for the 2026 Petroleum Technology Development Fund as a PTDF Overseas Scholarship Scheme, offering Nigerian graduate students the chance to study in the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and Malaysia. This was announced on X by the Special Advisor to the President on social media, Dada Olusegun. Further information on the Scholarship Board's website noted that the scheme is open to MSc and PhD candidates in discipline relevant to the oil and gas sector. It added that beneficiaries will receive full support, including tuition, return air tickets, accommodation, and living allowances, health insurance, and bench fees where applicable. We'll take a very short break right now. When we return, more stories in business, sports, and entertainment will be up next. Please to stay with us.
In a world where power shifts with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing.
And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. of Pavillion.
Glad to have you back. It is still the media news right here on Voice of the People Television. Let's get to some business stories. Banks have recorded an increase in loan defaults by households and corporates in the fourth quarter of 2025, reflecting growing repayment pressures on consumers and businesses. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, disclosed this in its Credit Condition Survey report for quarter 4 of 2025, which revealed that lenders experienced higher default rates on secured and unsecured household loans, as well as across all categories of corporate lending, including loans to small businesses, private non-financial corporation, and other financial cooperation. According to the survey, lenders reported higher default rates for secured, unsecured, and all corporate lending types in Q4 2025, reflecting sustained financial strain on borrowers amid prevailing economic conditions. Moving on to sports from the business stories, we go to sports. The federal government has allocated 24.9 billion naira for the upgrade of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja as part of the National Sports Commission NSC 203.6 billion naira budget for 2026. The upgrade includes 18.8 billion naira for the first phase of rehabilitation of the stadium's main bowl, 5.8 billion naira for the High Performance Center for athletes, and 65 million naira for internet connectivity. The 2026 sports budget represents a 300% increase from the 78 billion naira allocated in 2025, reflecting the government's efforts to revive Nigeria's sports infrastructure. And from there on, we'll